What is going on, Raider Nation, and anybody, any random football fan? We all know we're talking about these Gruden stories, man. The NFL is coming after my guy. And they've officially canceled him, right? They've pressured him to resign. You saw Pro Football Talk actually bring up the fact just the other day, just last night. I mean, this is happening in the wee hours of the night that Gruden would have been forced to resign had he not. The league would have kept leaking emails. And I made a video last night talking about a lot of these things, and some people agreed and disagreed. But the crux of my argument is that, this is not about, racism, sexism, making any of these things better for anyone. The whole reason why Gruden's really getting canceled is because of the expletives and what he said about Rodger Goodell. I mean, any honest person does admit that. And at the same time, there's a new argument that people are making, and it's actually quite sad because I think the crux of the argument that people are making who are okay with Gruden getting fired, they're basically saying, hey, at any job, if someone says this, they would have been in trouble. Well, that's not actually true. People are saying, hey, if anybody said these offensive things in the NFL and it was public like this, uh, they would be fired. That's not true. They would not be pressured to resign. I mean, look at Deshaun Jackson. I know he's a football player, a veteran in the league, and is on the Rams, performing every night, every Sunday, right? You get to see him. And Deshaun Jackson literally quoted Hitler on Twitter publicly. I mean, this guy literally made some of the most anti-Semitic comments you could possibly make, and he's still in the NFL. And hey, I personally think you should be able to say whatever you want. I'm okay with Deshaun Jackson saying whatever crazy shit he wants to say. I don't think that should necessarily ruin your job. But to actually say, oh, it's because Gruden said, his emails got released public. That's why he's in trouble. Well, then why are there so many other examples of people saying other offensive things and literally still being in the NFL? So, yeah, Deshaun Jackson, because the white Jews know that the Negroes are the real children of Israel, and to keep America's secret, the Jews will blackmail America. They will extort America, blah, 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 whatever. It's a crazy quote, but at the end of the day, what really matters is that it's literally from Hitler. I mean, this guy literally quoted Hitler, but he's still in the NFL, and Jon Gruden isn't. So if you want to support your NFL, that's what you get, right? What's up, everybody? Chris Rodriguez in here. What's up, Fierce Raider? How you doing? Anthony Provencio, Emmanuel, what's up? Hell yeah, Raiderette, appreciate you. Got bullied out of G's chat. I don't know who's G. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting you're getting bullied in other chats. I mean, people. I mean, is anybody talking about this? Like, is anybody talking about how literally other people have been able to get away with saying more offensive things to Gruden? People say, "Oh, don't quote Trump," right? The NFL hates Trump. Don't quote him because he's like Hitler, is what people say. Well, Deshaun Jackson literally quoted Hitler, so I don't know how much worse. I don't know how much worse you can really get than that. And another thing too. I mean, people talk about Gruden, what he said about. They say here's the thing. Here's the thing that I hate about all the headlines. They all say they don't say what he says. They paraphrase it, right? And they have their own version. And so the key thing they say is Gruden says disparaging comments about women. Okay, so what does he say? How is he hurting women, right? And what he's saying is he's laughing to his friends about how there's women referees. Similar to how Cam Newton, laughed at a female reporter. And I believe it was like 4 years ago, right? He laughs at a female reporter, almost loses a sponsor because she's asking him about routes and she's a woman. So this is literally the exact same way that Gruden has laughed about among his own friends privately. I mean, Cam Newton's doing this publicly. At a presser. He's laughing at a woman because she's asking questions about routes because she's a woman. And Gruden privately is laughing that there's female refs. Gruden's is way less offensive.
Does that give you a little bit of an enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there?
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes.
Yeah,
It's funny.
there it is. It's funny to hear females talk about routes, and look at the face, and this is right in front of her face
A little bit of an
publicly.
enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there.
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes, like.
Oh, but Gruden's canceled.
But fun is coming along, man. We gonna. This is a big game for him.
I mean, yeah, and then look at he's
because of,
super
you know,
condescending
him
to
being
her.
from Detroit, and I know he want this win extremely bad, and
And here's the thing: I think you should be allowed to make these jokes. I think you should be able to laugh at this reporter because it is rare that you hear a woman talk about routes. I think that's totally fine, but don't go sit here and say Gruden disparages women when he roasts the fact that there's now women refs, right? In private emails to his friends. It's not nearly as bad as what Cam Newton did. Not anywhere close to as bad as what Cam Newton did. But your little media friends, your Keyshawn Johnsons on ESPN, your Randy Mosses, your Adam Schefters, right? Your, your Achos, right? All these people, your Stephen A. Smiths, and honestly, and even, other people on, the internet now, they're all going to act like what Gruden said is worse. And they're going to totally avoid all these things. I just showed you 2 examples right off the bat of people saying worse things publicly than Gruden. I showed you Deshaun Jackson literally quoting Hitler, disparaging a whole, saying some of the worst things you can say about a whole entire community, that has experienced something like the Holocaust. And then you got Cam Newton laughing at a reporter to her face because there's women reporters asking about refs. Meanwhile, Gruden cannot laugh privately to his friends about female refs. I mean, give me a fucking break, right? That's why I don't even monetize these videos anymore, because I just want more people to see this shit. If you notice, there's no ads in this and shit anymore. I'm not doing ads anymore. I'm going to talk to Manscaped. I might even be done with that because I just want people to see this bullshit, honestly. I mean, really, because this is complete bullshit. Now, let's talk about some more stuff. I'll bring up some of your guys' comments, too. What's good, Todd? And AB, I mean, hey, a lot of people would say, hey, there's no such thing as reverse racism. Maybe cracker's not even a racial slur. Sure. I mean, but he's definitely been inappropriate in the workplace. He's definitely had allegations against him of him, like him and Deshaun Watson. They both literally have sexual assault allegations thrown towards them. Similar to Robert Kraft, right? Well, to be honest, I don't see how this is a sexual assault allegation with Robert Kraft. He just used to visit massage parlors, right? But either way, these are actions and things that people are doing. This is stuff that, is way more, I guess, harmful on like a purely practical level to women, right? Than making jokes with your friends about women referees. I mean, come on. But I guess you got to turn the other cheek to be delusional and be like, oh, Gruden deserved it. You got to turn the other cheek, right? That's what you got to do. You got to just hide and act like, oh, the NFL's not hypocritical. I'm just going to hide and pretend it's not. All right. Cam's a piece of work. I mean, what else? I mean, he should be able to say what he wants to say. Other channels, woke culture is toxic. I haven't really watched anybody. I mean, I saw Raid the Tape earlier. He seemed fine. He seemed like he was just focusing on the football. I haven't really watched anybody else besides him, but I don't think he's part of that problem in particular. But I only watched a few minutes, so I don't know. You guys tell me. These people make me sick. I mean, yeah, I know, right? I'd love to see what Stephen A. Smith's emails say from 10 or 12 years ago. Exactly. He called LeBron a cupcake fairy. Nobody said nothing. Exactly. I mean, who knows what else he has said? And yeah, when you're calling somebody a cupcake, you're essentially saying, because they're effeminate, they should be insulted by that. That's the thing. Gruden also, it's not like he called Michael Sam a queer, right? And laughing about it to his friends. But in those emails, he also calls his friends queers. He also makes like kind of homoerotic jokes with his friends. So it's not even like he's necessarily attacking gay people. It's really odd. Got attacked on the Watson hypocrisy. It's funny. I don't know where you got attacked on the Watson hypocrisy, but yeah, people forget about that. People just want to act like, oh, like somehow like Gruden's is worse. I mean, how could you really say that? And here's the thing. I think people are innocent until proven guilty. So on the Deshaun Watson thing, you know, I'd like to see, like, you know, this is a legal matter that people need to handle and figure out, you know, if these claims are true. Is it just a civil case where you're only trying to get a settlement of money rather than a criminal case? I mean, that's usually a big indicator of whether or not, you know, the allegations are, you know, solely about the truth. I guess I'll say that. So, yeah. Anyways, though, that's another good point. EC ever isn't queer an approved term for gays anyway. Yeah. So you're only, if you're like, you know, a white guy from Florida, I guess you can't say queers, even though that's literally how people identify as queer. So yeah, that's another good point. Yeah, and so Rodger Goodell, I mean, there's an investigation of a prostitution ring in one of these massage parlors, and we know it turns out that Goodell, or not Goodell, I'm sorry, Robert Kraft used to attend these parlors, right? I mean, that, and so, I mean, I guess you could say he's pro sex worker, so maybe that makes him kind of woke. I guess you could say that. But I mean, hey, this stuff is way more. I mean, look, people have done way worse than Gruden. I mean, that's the point of this issue. This stuff is way more salacious for sure. And honestly, they're actually breaking laws. I mean, you're technically legally not allowed to go to prostitution rings. You're not allowed to do that in America. Some places, other countries, you are. But I mean, they're actually committing crimes here. Gruden committed no crime. What crime did Gruden commit? Can anybody tell me? Yeah. Anyways, though, I don't stand. Wait, what happened? What are you guys saying has happened? This is a political takeover. I mean, yeah, NBA obviously. I mean, dude, they literally have people who just straight up. I mean, they had a poet who performed at halftime who spoke at Biden's inauguration. Could you imagine if they had somebody who like spoke at Trump's inauguration at the halftime or at the Super Bowl, like they did last year? People would flip. Mike, I don't stand for bullying. Graf was out of line. I supported him when he had 1,000 subs. I don't know what bullying happened, but if you guys want to let me know in the chat, but I mean, I personally haven't watched, so I don't know of any bullying. Let me know. Let me know what happened though, man. Imagine if Stabler had emails back in the day. Oh yeah, Stabler's email, dude. Everybody's emails. Imagine Belichick's emails right now, right? Imagine literally every single one of these coaches, even the hip young ones like McVay and Shanahan. You know, everybody like makes inappropriate jokes with their friends. They've probably made fun of Asians, Mexicans. Who knows? Fat. I mean, maybe they made fun of fat people. You can't fat shame anymore. Is anybody gonna get canceled for fat shaming? And then there's a big kicker too, which is like Dan Snyder. I mean, this guy is literally, I mean, this is who this investigation is supposed to be about, right? But for some reason, we don't really hear anything about him, right? Workplace culture. There's a series of articles, 40 women employees, and, you know, they have claimed to be sexually harassed by Snyder and other executives. There was a settlement in the lawsuit. And then they did a year-long investigation into the team's workplace culture led by Beth Wilkinson. And this was concluded in July 2021. So this investigation was concluded in July 2021, meaning, I mean, they've known a lot of details, right, for a very long time, and finally decide to drop these emails because this investigation has been going on since July 2021. So they could have, I mean, it's been a few months where, you know, you've had a shot to say something, for sure. And so, yeah, now's the time to do it. And not to mention, like we already know, 650,000 emails are released, are part of this investigation that the NFL has access to. It's 650,000, yet we're literally only hearing about Jon Gruden's emails. Where are the other ones of all the other people who could be, you know, targeted in this? There's some bullying going on. I mean, people said you're dumb. Yeah, a lot of people are even talking about the article being long. So I'm like, I mean, who's really dumb? Can you not read a whole article? I mean, I had the New York Times article popped up. Here's the thing. Somebody was even commenting on my video saying that I'm like uninformed about this. I literally I pretty much read the whole article on
It's been here for years.
Yeah.
On my channel just last
There's
night.
an animal in the attic.
So let me turn this annoying ad off. Let me get into. I'll grab the New York Times article because, hey, New York Times is I think they're a super like crooked paper. I mean, I don't care what you guys say. I mean, if you can't believe that about New York Times, I mean, you must have not seen the 2015 primaries and the election. I mean, it's just pretty obvious. And like I said before, I'm a leftist, so you can't call me conservative for this. But New York Times has always been sketchy as hell. I mean, come on. And so I read this whole thing, and even after reading this, I still am like, wow, it's not even that bad. Not even as bad as I thought it was. Yeah, the NFL targeted and came after us. They didn't really come after us. They more so came after Gruden. I mean, they let him be the fall guy. He was harsh. He can say he disagrees without being harsh to a supporter. So Graph is saying people are soft. Hey, here's the thing. I think people are allowed to agree or say like, hey, people are allowed to say like, oh, okay, hey, I think what Gruden said is wrong and he should be fired for it. People should be allowed to say that and have that opinion, just like you're allowed to say you should be allowed to say he should not be fired. He should not be fired. He should not step down. And that there's plenty of other examples, like I've just pointed out here before, that people want to neglect. People want to neglect and turn their face and hide from it because then they're not able to see how hypocritical this bullshit really is. People aren't allowed, because if you avoid stuff like this, Deshaun Watson's anti-Semitism, Cam Newton's sexism, which I don't even want to go with these isms because I think people should be able to just be whoever they want to be. I think you should be able to make these inappropriate comments and not lose your job. So I don't even want to do this at the same time. But you can't deny that there's been people who have done just as bad of things and that this was clearly targeted when you have 650,000 emails, which New York Times even admits, hey, there's all these other emails, and for some reason we're only getting Gruden's. That's it. Yeah, so no new information. Honestly, the only thing that's really happening at this point is people are piling on. I mean, at least there's been some more people who have been more open to the idea that, there's no parity, right? There should be other people who, face similar consequences. At least some people are open to that idea. But what's kind of unfortunate is there's still a consensus saying like, oh, well, I think that Gruden should still get in trouble. What he said was wrong, right? What he said was wrong.
And he's been running up the middle.
What really is wrong with making some jokes with your friends, dude? What really is wrong with that? And the thing is, all these other examples I pointed out to you are people saying this shit publicly. Literally, Gruden didn't say anything publicly. There's nothing he said publicly that was offensive. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so... Yeah, I was tracking to see. I was like, doesn't Graphic have a live right now? I guess he's in here. I don't know. Whatever. But I want to show you guys some more stuff here. I'm gonna pop with some more stuff. Let's see what's new. I was seeing some reactions. Keyshawn Johnson was crying about it. Maybe we can hear some of the Keyshawn Johnson. I think he was It's weird too because it shows how much of a snake. I mean, you could really be in the NFL. Keyshawn Johnson was praising Gruden and praising Carr prior to all these stories. I mean, he was saying how great of a guy Gruden is, how he's stoked for him, and how the Raiders are really turning things around, and then you have him last night going on some like little emotional rant. And pretty much accusing him of being like racist for a long time. I mean,
everybody makes mistakes, huh?
Quite odd.
But not only do you mock the size of an African American's lips, you also degrade owners in the National Football League, as well as the commissioner.
Yeah, did you just hear what he just said right now? You're also degrading owners in the National Football League and the commissioner. You're degrading all these billionaires and all these rich ass motherfuckers. No, you should be sucking their dick. Don't make fun of them in emails. That's literally what this dude is saying. He's trying to actually make you feel bad for Gruden dissing Goodell and other owners. This ain't about fucking racism, bro. This ain't about sexism. This is about a bunch of stooges who are paid. You know, he's made a millionaire by these rich owners, by rich ass Goodell. He's paid by them, and so now he's got to go out and defend them. That's literally this dude's job now. He's a sucker. He's a sucker for the NFL.
Football leagues of an African American's lips. You also degrade owners in the National Football League, as well as the commissioner. My concentration ain't only you talk bad about a black man. You're also talking about bad about people that own teams, run the league, the commissioner of the league, because he's a bad person. I tried to tell people this when I played for this man, but I was in the wrong. Keyshawn just a spoiled brat.
Oh, so Gruden's a bad person? Then why were you praising him just 2 weeks ago when the Raiders are 3-0? Why were you all on his nuts when the Raiders are 3-0 and Carr's an elite QB because him and Gruden got it together and blah, blah, blah. So when he was going to ride the gravy train of the Raiders because they were 3-0, he's all about Gruden. But now that it's time to pile up on Gruden, he's saying fuck Gruden. Oh, and feel bad for the owners and the commissioners because you shouldn't say mean things about them. Don't hurt these rich people's feelings.
Oh, Keyshawn just a diva. Oh, Keyshawn just wants the football. But here we are now, however many years later, and stuff is coming to the surface.
Yeah, and then also Keyshawn is on here at the very beginning. So here's a minute 55 in. At the very beginning, he's plugging his book. So this guy's got to sell his book. That's what this is really all about. Okay. He's just trying to make some money and, you know, pimp out you fans. He wants to pimp out you fans and make some money off you.
Very disturbing.
Because he's going to talk about his book in the very beginning.
I won a Super Bowl with and I played with. And I had my issues with him. Okay? Well documented. But at the same time, what he said about D. Smith is disturbing. It's unacceptable. And this is why, in this country, we are in a position that we are in as human beings, not only human beings, but as African Americans. Because we gloss over these sort of things and act like it's not that big of a deal.
And I think here's where he mentions it.
I just wrote a book.
Yeah.
The Forgotten First. Talks about the
Forgotten First.
Same damn issues. The Forgotten First. Talks about these.
So this he's got a new book out, Keyshawn Johnson. So that's why he's going off on these things, bro. He's trying to make some cash off you. He's using the little racism comments and Gruden's and Mines to make some fucking cash. That's what he is. He's just a hustler. Yeah, what is this book? What is this book really about? What's this book about? The color barrier in the NFL. Okay, yeah, because that's still a problem, right? You know, there's, you know, right? It's all white players playing right now. Isn't that true, right? Give me a break, bro. Give me a break. All right, I'm gonna see some more comments in this chat. He does sound scripted. That's true. Randy Moss, Brotherhood. Yeah, Randy Moss, yeah. Look, ESPN came the hardest on Gruden because they hate him the most because they're pissed that he left. True at the end of the day. And honestly, it's not about being stuck on cancel culture, bro. You're literally, if you're not going to back up this coach right now and just act like this is okay, then you're literally a sucker who will let anybody do anything to you. And you're not going to question it. I mean, come on, dude. Just look at what's going on, understand the situation, and think, do you trust the NFL after this? If they could really just dig up some shit on some random guy, totally avoid the fact that other people have said worse shit, even publicly, even straight up publicly, just because you don't like this guy, because he made fun of you privately to his friends. He said, fuck Goodell. And you're going to really say that you're okay with that? And that you trust the NFL and you'll keep giving them money, you're a sucker then. If that's really, I mean, I'm just saying, you're either naive or a sucker. That's what I think. They literally canceled and fired your head coach because of some offensive jokes he made privately to his friends. They literally just did that. Does that even like stick in or anything? I mean, maybe people don't care. I don't know. Or maybe people think, yeah, cancel everybody. Cancel Deshaun Jackson, cancel Cam Newton, cancel Robert Kraft, cancel you probably cancel your own family. I mean, if you go to a family reunion, you hear some offensive jokes there, so maybe we should cancel your family, actually. Excuses. How is he bigot? How is he any more of a bigot than Deshaun Jackson? Explain that. I mean, I don't think he's bullying. I think he's joking. I think he's, joking around following you to this chat. Some of these people worried about that. I mean, yeah, I mean, everybody has said offensive things, right? Or at least made offensive jokes with their friends. So honestly, and they've already admitted this. They've already admitted that he was forced out. So there's another comment in here that's saying, "Oh, I'm wrong. Gruden quit because he knew he couldn't come back from what he said." Yeah, actually, he was gonna come back from what he said, and most people thought that's how it was gonna stay until they kept releasing more emails. And literally, if he would have went to court with them, they would have found out more information about the Washington football team. If Gruden had fought back, his lawyers would immediately have delved. And this is Florio's paper saying this. I mean that's pretty crazy when Florio, has to be more real than a bunch of Raiders fans, to be honest. If Gruden had fought back, his lawyers would immediately have delved into the question of how, with more than 650,000 emails unearthed by the Washington football team investigation, only the emails Gruden sent to former Washington executive Bruce Allen have been released. And by the way, these emails aren't released publicly. You can't find the full email. I keep people saying, "Oh, New York Times posted the full email." No, they didn't. I have the New York Times article right here. They did not post no full email. You don't get to have access to the email. So people on Reddit and all this shit online saying, "Oh, they have the emails." Where are the emails? You literally can't read them. You can't read the emails that Gruden said. You just get hearsay. You get someone plucking out some lines from it and you get hearsay. So no person, a public individual like you or me, have access to these emails to see it. To even see what he's fully canceled for. To see the whole context of the email. None of us have had the chance to see that. So if anybody knows where you can find it, and then people are saying, "Oh, Gruden mocked players getting concussions," or that he made fun of Goodell for worrying about concussion protocol. Dude, the NFL has been trying to hide this concussion protocol and Rodger Goodell forever. Have you not seen the movie League of Denial? I mean, come on. Do these people have such historical amnesia? Literally, there's been a whole movie since 2013 out about how the NFL hides, its concussions and everything like that. And all Gruden said is he made fun of Goodell for supporting basically the Democrat propaganda. Because all this shit's not about racial equality and criminal justice reform. Because Democrats and the NFL aren't actually interested in solving any of that and don't give a shit if their inner cities run to shit. Don't give a shit if kids go to shitty ass schools where there's hella crime. They really don't give a shit about that. Nor do they give a shit about helping a bunch of poor kids and working class kids get jobs. They don't give a shit about any of that. So honestly, racial equality, criminal justice reform, yeah. I mean, I don't think they really do anything for that. I think they just promote a particular political party. So anyways, yeah, and all he said is he needs to hide in his concussion protocol tent. So he's mocking concussions of players and stuff just from that one comment. And meanwhile, that's taken out of context. That's the only sentence we get to see regarding that issue. Oh, and the derogatory thing about women, here's all it is. And this is the only part we get to see. We don't even get to see the sentences or the full email. We don't get access to that. Us peons aren't allowed to. All we get is that we know that somebody sent a sexist meme. We don't even know how the meme's sexist. What's sexist about the meme? Can we see the meme? Are we allowed to see the sexist meme that Drosty shared with their group? Drosty shared to their group chat a sexist meme of a female referee. What's sexist about it? Do you guys even know what the meme is? Are we allowed to know? Maybe it's not so bad and that's why they don't share it with us. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then all he says is, nice job, Rodger. So apparently he disparages women by doing that. That's literally all they got. That's all they got. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Facts. The media is spinning the contents to make Gruden sound disgraceful. I mean, yeah, we're not even allowed to see the full emails. The reason why they have access to the emails is because there's investigation into the Washington football team. Remember, it was Goodell who came up with the tuck rule. Yes, that's true. Oh yeah, because they know that most people just are busy. You know, most people aren't malicious. Most people are just busy with their lives, so they don't give a shit, and they're not going to delve into anything like this. Most people didn't even read this New York Times article. Most people who are reporting on all this shit did not even read this New York Times article. After homophobic and misogynist emails. Now the misogyny and the sexism, I just went over that portion of it. And literally all they have is hearsay. We don't even get to see anything. It's a whole article just grandstanding, saying that Gruden should be removed and you know, he should be denounced. But we don't really get to see any of the details. And when it comes to sexism and all this stuff, we don't really get to see anything besides, I guess you could say Gruden mocked Jenner. And then we just hear that he mocked her. We don't even get to see what he said mocking Jenner. And if anybody here disagrees with me that the emails are released, send me the emails. Send me in the chat the emails. I'd love to see it. I'd love to read it. Send me the full emails. I've seen people on Reddit. I've seen people on Facebook. Everybody's acting like they've read these emails before. And trust me, I've looked for them. I mean, let's try to look for them right now. Let's try to look. Full Gruden emails. Emails explain. More. Okay, 17 hours ago. Pro Football Talk. Reuters. So we already looked through New York Times, and I've already looked through this whole article. I can't find a link to an email. All right, so I'm going to go back to the chat because I was kind of not looking at it right now. Yeah, they don't want us to see it because I bet you a lot of people would see it and be like, wow. They would, and even now, even with what they're paraphrasing, it doesn't sound bad. And here's the thing. Here's another thing. This is how squeaky clean Gruden is. Gruden is so squeaky clean that this is the worst they have on him. Gruden is so clean that out of 650,000 emails, the worst thing they have on him about disparaging women is saying, nice job, Rodger, in response to a meme that we don't even get to see. That's the worst thing they have on Gruden. Gruden is so squeaky clean that the worst thing they have on him for racism is Michelin lips. That's the worst thing they have on him. Out of 650,000 emails, that's the worst thing they have on him. So tell me that's not sketch. Exactly, Mr. Wombat. No, we don't get to see anything. Just be quiet, accept their word as gospel, you plebe. Yes, it's true. Yeah, Chappelle gets to mock Jenner in his new special, and yeah. So yeah, exactly. He you know, he gets away with that because I guess he's part of the Obama crew. You know what I mean? He, you know, probably was at Obama's dinner during the pandemic. You know, when we weren't allowed to go to businesses, but they're allowed to their parties and stuff like that. True. Yeah, we don't get to see anything, right? If anybody has them, because I know there's a lot of like people who think that I'm wrong, bro, and Gruden's bad and Gruden's a racist, Gruden's a sexist. Well, send me the emails then. Send me the full emails then. And if you can't, then shut the fuck up, because you don't got nothing. You only have this New York Times article, which I've read like 20 times at this point. Yeah, exactly. So it's funny because, wokesters always accuse people of gaslighting too, and they literally gaslight everybody. Literally gaslight everybody. And here's the thing too, and that's why I don't want to get it twisted. When I'm talking about Deshaun Jackson literally quoting Hitler, like straight up quoting Hitler on his Twitter publicly. Look, I don't think he should like not be allowed to play because of that. But I'm just saying, if Gruden can't coach because of this shit, then can we at least have any kind of freaking fairness and parity? Yeah, they don't want you to see it because you'll still see the real Gruden, and everything that they got on him so far is not even. That's the best they got. Look, they went through 650,000 emails, and that's the best they got. The NFL cares so much about objectifying women. Go watch one of their halftime shows. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's that too. I mean, hey, honestly, you can express your sexuality, whatever you want. I mean, I have no problem seeing some risque halftime shows. That's just my taste. Maybe that makes me a sexist pig, though, if I'm like into attractive women. Maybe that. Bro, they're gonna freaking cancel this video. Just like my last video. My last video had such amazing metrics, but somehow didn't get that many views. And I look at my analytics all the time. Trust me, this video is not gonna get out there. The sad part is everyone believes what they're told. Totally true. NFL is scripted, don't bet. I mean, why do you think every primetime game goes down to the wire? Unless it's Thursday night football, because nobody watches that anyways. I mean, yeah, Chappelle, obviously, he's a comedian, so he's going to have more leeway. But there's an argument to make that Gruden's a comedian. I mean, Gruden's actually, most people like him because of how funny he is. That's why he's so successful in Monday Night Football and how successful he's been as a coach, for so long. And so, I mean, yeah, is he allowed any, like, comedy leeway? I don't know. And another thing is that, I mean, he said his stuff privately. Chappelle is saying, like, borderline homophobic stuff publicly. And honestly, I think he should be allowed to say that. Fine. Chappelle should be able to say that he's like, I don't know what he's saying, that gay people have more success than black people in politics or something. I don't know I loosely watched the special. But yeah, he should be allowed to say that and, still be a comedian. And Gruden should still be allowed to be a coach because he's actually a really good coach. When we were 3-0, you guys were all sucking on Gruden's. I mean, everybody was on Gruden's nuts. Then what happened? Wait, so what are people saying? Maybe he is what? Yeah, okay, I don't know about that. Republican fans will make Gruden a legend. Are you really serious? I know for a fact you've never been around football and leading men. Who is this creep? You've never been around enough men. Yeah, Eminem. Literally, Eminem has a whole rap mixtape song about how black women are disgusting and gross to have sex with. I mean, I'm not even gonna play some of that shit. I'm in Facebook jail, but I'll share this when I'm on parole. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how holding calls literally are the most subjective thing ever. Like, even when I was talking about freaking Vontez Burfict the other day, and how you know, he's saying that holding and there's penalties on every play and the refs choose when they want to call them. You know what I mean? Even Burfict's saying this. And Burfict's a little salty, but he knows he's not going to be back in the NFL, so he's allowed to just be real about some shit and say, hey, you know, I honestly think they rigged some of the games, is exactly what he said. I'm kind of in the way. Let me see. For those of you who didn't see this, I honestly think some of the games are rigged. The refs pick and choose when they want to throw their flags. There are flags on every play. The refs determine the outcomes of the game, so I just choose not to watch it for the most part. This bro played the game for almost 10 years, and he doesn't even watch the game. I don't know, so why should we? I don't know. I just don't trust the NFL. I don't want to keep giving them money. I don't want them to make money off my videos. Yeah, there's an anti-PC market in comedy that Chappelle is trying to appeal to. It's been it's all the rage these days. People are, even SNL makes anti-woke jokes sometimes now, you know, so it's all the rage. And yeah, I mean, public versus private, that's pretty interesting. The fact that Gruden's is just straight up private, it's insane. Penalties of our last game was pretty crazy, exactly. So, like I was saying earlier, I'm trying to find the full emails. The NFL is monitoring the situation. This was at 31 GMT, so I don't know exactly what time that is. This is today, though. This is this is yesterday, in the middle of the night. It's the email. Denigrating Smith is appalling. The email from Jon Gruden confirms that blah blah blah. We gotta fight racism. Yeah, so still no email. If anybody could find the actual email, let me know. I'd love to check it out. Apparently we can't, though. We're not allowed to. Let's see. See what we got here. I want to see who we have. We got 36 likes in the building, 66 viewers. Shout out to all you guys checking out this video and everything. We'll be getting into more stuff because you know what? There's going to be more news, more takes and everything. We're just watching that Keyshawn Johnson too. I mean, he's just straight up going anti-Gruden. I wonder if we could find a video of what he was saying right before, because this guy was all the rage about Gruden.
Damn issues back in 1930. We dealing with some race insensitive behavior by a head coach,
by his new book,
who many thought
about race,
didn't even deserve the opportunity to coach the Raiders.
Yeah, he's going off on race, so you could buy his new book about race. So you can make a lot of money off race.
But
you know,
guess
it's pretty
what?
cool.
He did, and now this is what we're dealing with, and you got to deal with that locker room. We saw yesterday on the football field what that locker room turned out to be.
I'm not saying the emails don't exist. I'm saying why can't we read the actual email? Why do we only get hearsay by the New York Times? And literally his sexist remark is literally we get 3 words in response to a meme. Do you even know what the meme is? Have you been able to see it? I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying you're not allowed to see it, and you suck it up and take what they tell you. You're the one who just eats it all up. And I'm part of the problem?
Which is an L. You don't think that was heavy on them black players and some of the white players' mind? Hell yeah, it was. Of course it was. That's why they went out there and laid an egg.
I don't know how the league's going to handle this, but as a player, regardless of whether I didn't hear you say
Okay, so this
it or
was
not,
yesterday.
the fact that I know that came from you in the midst of fury, I can't ride with you anymore.
No,
Yeah. Even though all the players said that they love Gruden. You know, that they're trying to roll with Gruden. Illuminor came out for Gruden. You know, we saw the pressers, right? Anyways, hopefully Keyshawn Johnson makes a good amount of money off his book, though, right? What are some other people saying? See, I just like debunking what people are saying. You know what I mean? Florio has actually randomly, has been kind of sound on it, at least as far as the player conduct policy.
Bundling our home and car insurance easy.
I gotta get this shit.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Shit.
Another.
So Florio actually was one of the people who said that just according to the player conduct policy, you literally can't fire somebody for something they did when they weren't even part of your organization. You really can't punish them. And that's why they had to force him to resign, because they literally couldn't get him in trouble because he didn't work for the NFL at that time. He was a free individual. Yeah, good point, Clint. You know, this is scary, bro. You can use somebody's private email even when he didn't work there at the time. Thanks for backing me up on that, bro. Yeah, exactly. Why can't we read the whole email or get the whole context? We're not allowed to get it. Why aren't we allowed to see it? Yeah, we're going to see what Stephen A. I wonder what Mike Tomlin's take. Florio is being sound because this thing has jumped the shark, going to lose more NFL fans. I think a lot of people are going to watch the NFL. I definitely could see that happening.
I've resigned as
I mean,
head coach
I
of the
might
Las
stop.
Vegas Raiders. I love the Raiders and do not.
All right, so
sorry,
we're skipping
President
this. Let's just hear what they say.
Stephen A. Smith. I'll start with you, Stephen A. As Keyshawn gets set here.
Oh, God.
What's your reaction to all of this? Because this was shocking as I was
He's gonna
watching the
start
game. It
getting
was really
serious,
coming
too,
down
'cause
throughout
he's
at
woke.
halftime.
Oh, yeah. Just by the way, everybody, like you said, Keyshawn will be here in a second. Just
Yep.
changing.
Walking out
Oh,
right
my
now.
God.
Yep.
Is this guy really going to try to get emotional right now? What a
I
loser.
hear so much statics in my ear right now. To say that this is stunning doesn't even begin to describe what this situation is.
Yeah.
Let me get
Get
this out of the way
to the
first.
point, bro.
Keyshawn's
Come on.
here. Good morning. Thank you for being with us. Thank you
You're
for
not
the
shell
hustle.
shocked. He just said
And grateful to
Michelin
have
lips,
you.
bro.
Yeah, absolutely grateful.
You're not
Thanks a
shell
lot.
shocked, are you?
To say that this is stunning doesn't even begin to describe how we all should feel right now. Couple of things. Number one, yesterday, you weren't here. I was of the mindset that Jon Gruden shouldn't be fired, shouldn't be suspended, because it was one email from 2011. And then the next thing you know, this avalanche arrived last night. And you learned that it wasn't one email, but many. You learned it wasn't one email that happened in 2011. It was emails that started in like 2010 all the way to 2011, all the way to 2018. And let's get into the particulars, because before I even say all of that, let me say this. Jon Gruden's career is over. It's over. There's certain things that we are the land of second chances. People make mistakes all the time, and we get all of that. But I cannot imagine
Is there any hope in the comments?
even a white male with influence and connections and some degree of power that can overcome what the New York Times reported and what we all now know.
What the New York Times reported, which
Jon
I just
Gruden
showed you.
made racially insensitive comments about DeMaurice Smith, the executive director of the Players Association. And you have a plethora of people in this country that felt that should have been enough.
Yeah, DeMaurice Smith, really, I mean, he's not really that oppressed, DeMaurice Smith. I hate to break it to you. He has been a NFL player executive for 12 years. So for 12 years, he's exclusively worked on how to make sure most NFL players get paid as little as possible so the NFL continues to generate more revenue. So that's DeMaurice Smith. He's worked for 12 years to make sure NFL players don't get that many gains in their contract negotiations and their wages. And he is the guy who Goodell prefers as the NFLPA executive. So you know he's on the side of the owners. So all these players supporting DeMaurice Smith, I mean, it really is to your own demise. It's quite sad, but oh well.
Then we learned that he was against the NFL bringing in a guy like Michael Sam, saying over via emails that the commissioner should not be encouraging then Rams coach Jeff Fisher to draft queers. Then he sat up there, and after all of that, what did he say after that? He goes off, he calls the commissioner the P word. He calls the vice president of the United States the P word. He's against
Whoa. What, the P word? I mean, I hear so many people, especially football fans, say the word pussy. I mean, come on. It's a body part too, by the way. I mean, so where like what? So now you're not allowed to say that. Now it's the P word. Now pussy has become the N word, I guess, guys. It's the N word, and then there's the P word. So apparently, when it comes to Gruden, it's the P word now. So and okay, wait a second. So we can't call Goodell a pussy. We're not allowed to do that now. You're not allowed to privately with your friends call Goodell a pussy. And Biden, you're not allowed to roast Sleepy Joe privately with your friends and call him a nervous pussy. He is a nervous pussy. He doesn't even know what's going on. He's out of it. He's senile.
Commissioner. Then he sat up there, and after all of that, what did he say after that? He goes off. He calls the commissioner the P word.
Nothing wrong with
He
that.
calls the vice president of the United States the P word.
Nothing wrong with that.
He's against women being officials in the National Football League. I mean, you insulted blacks, you insulted women, you insulted folks from
That's
the gay
insulting
community.
women?
The list
Wait,
just
and
went on
criticized player safety.
and criticized. I was
trying to reduce
Oh,
the
I wasn't
concussions.
finished. I wasn't
Okay.
finished. I was saving
I
that.
just wanted to make sure.
Eric Reed.
How is this about players?
He said that Eric Reed should be fired for exercising his constitutional rights because he had every right to do what he did, whether people agree with him or not. The fact of the matter is you had a right to do it. He said the man should be fired. Everywhere you turn, I mean, he has offended, several groups of people. His career is over. There's certain things, particularly in this day and age, you don't come back from. And Jon Gruden
This day and age,
cannot
this
come
woke
back.
millennial
So
cancel
before
culture
I say,
bullshit.
I want to hand it off
I got
to you,
hell.
Keyshawn,
I got
because I think
people
your
sending me
words right
messages
now
on
are more important than mine
Instagram.
because you played for the man and you were consistent. Like I said yesterday, even when at the time I said, listen, he should be fired based off of the one comment from 2011. I made sure to point out that your words yesterday on your radio show, before anybody has spoken.
Yeah, I'm actually
your
getting some
words
positive
were,
Instagram
Keyshawn's
messages
the
from people right now, so I'm actually appreciate that. Feel free to call. I mean, yeah, if people jumping on a call would be pretty interesting. But yeah, so shout out to every people reaching out to me. I really appreciate that. I also got an email from my school, so I was just taking a look at that. But as you can see, though, I want to see what Keyshawn's going to say. But I mean, this is pretty predictable by Stephen A. Smith.
Jon Gruden years and years ago. So your words were very, very consistent. And now they're prophetic and profound, to be quite honest with you. I don't see how he gets away with this. I don't see how he comes back from this. He hasn't gotten away from it, but how he comes back from this. But he ain't the
Exactly, bro. I actually like this comment because this is some of what I was saying this the other day. Great minds think alike, I guess, you know. Yeah, we'll be the team that beat racism, you know, and make it deep in the playoffs and be like a woke story. And then we'll have Nassib. And look, I love Nassib. I think he's an awesome player, and I'm glad that he came out and could be himself. But, you know, this just seems a little bit too much like a Hallmark card. You know what I mean? And I could see it going in this way. And look, we already know it's bullshit because no interim head coach ever does that well. They never do well enough where they can actually go deep in the playoffs. So we'll know it's some sketchy shit based on what happens. Exactly, Ray the Tape. He sounds like a regular football fan. So, I mean, honestly, I think most people are just going to freaking take this on the chin and move on and still watch the game. But, you know what, dude? I just hope people, I hope people just say, hey, you know what? I don't really feel like giving that much to this industry anymore. You know, because really, it's equivalent to WWE. We've known that for a long time. And it's become political and it's unfair. They unfairly target particular individuals and harm and hurt individuals' careers and lives. And the worst part about the NFL is they try to act like they're good, charitable people and that they actually give a fuck about people. And that's like, to me, that's more sick. That's more sick and twisted when you try to pretend that you actually care when you're literally like one of the sketchiest industries in the world, you know? So, whatever. Apparently Goodell cares about concussions all of a sudden. He's a freaking humanist. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? P word, yeah. Don't say the P word. It's the new N word. So watch out. I actually am not getting hate mail though. I'm actually surprised. I'm getting like pro mail. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm getting pro sympathetic mail. I wonder if I could share with this person. I'm gonna share what this person's saying, but I'm gonna block out their name. Because I think what they're saying, and maybe I'll ask them. Do you care if I share your message? Do you care if I share your message, but block your name? Yeah, because you know what? A lot of what this person's saying, yeah, you should have the freedom of speech to, protest, which you should have the freedom of speech to protest, but no freedom of speech when you're just joking around with your friends. Arrested for wrong think. P word. I mean, it's gonna be tough for me to give to this league. Yeah, NFL cares about player safety. That's why when they're like, Gruden made fun of concussions, or they're trying to act like saying that he like mocked players. He didn't. If anything, he's just making fun of Goodell and making fun of he's just bringing up the fact that there's a concussion protocol 10. I mean, literally, I don't see how you could see that as disparaging a player at all. Oh, yeah, I did get a hate mail last night. Let me show you guys it. This is what a guy said. See if I could show it. Is it going to be backwards? Here. Actually, I know what to do. No, I know how to fix it. I will flip this. This should work. Okay. Ah, poor baby. Nice to see you melt down tonight on YouTube because you are so fragile. You can't believe a redneck hillbilly might be racist. So apparently Gruden, a multi-millionaire, is a redneck hillbilly. I would not suspect that a multi-millionaire out of Jacksonville, Florida is a redneck hillbilly. But okay. Take a seat, shut the fuck up, and learn about what's going on. You are an embarrassment to your family. They all want you to just stop and shut the fuck up. What? This person does not even know my family because, trust me, they do not mind anything I'm saying right now. I know for a fact. So that was my bad mail. Okay, so this guy is down for me to share as long as I don't show his name. So this is cool. Let me just make this a little bigger. God, that looks weird. All right, here we go. This will focus in a little bit. Okay. Bro, I'm showing his name a little bit. Oh, well. Bro, I'm watching your YouTube video on Gruden canceling. I feel like you're saying everything that I'm thinking. I just want to say thank you. You give me hope. I'm so disgusted by what people are saying and how bad and scary this cancel bullshit is. It's good to know that there are other people around my age that get it. And more importantly, not afraid to express that. I'd love to do a joint YouTube video with you and share my thoughts with you and discuss further. I feel like we need to stand up for Gruden, for all the others that this will not happen to other people. And we need to keep this topic going and not let the NFL and others get away with it. If we looked at everyone's emails, we would cancel the world. I'm sorry, but this is disgusting, disturbing. Feel free to hit me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly though. Right on the money with that, man. You really do have to stand up for, oh shit, this is a really bad angle. You really do have to stand up for, some of your people like Gruden because, dude, come on, this is unfair, bro. So, yeah, it is good to not be quiet, to say what you think and not be silenced by people who honestly just want to go with the herd, right? That's what most people got going. No one. What do you mean agrees with what he said? What did he say? Do you even know what he said? So here's his sexist part. Like I just said earlier, someone shares a meme of a female referee and he says, "Nice job, Rodger." That's the sexism part. So he's making fun of that there's women refs. I mean, yeah, is that as bad as Cam mocking a woman reporter for talking about routes?
The physicality personality. And see, I know you hate guards. Does that give you
Is that as bad?
enjoyment to see him kind of truck
I don't.
people?
I personally don't care if there's women refs, but I think you should be allowed to make fun of it. Who gives a shit? Especially privately to your friends. But exactly. But the New York Times said that I have to think this. The New York Times told me I have to think this. That's literally what it comes down to. It's actually pretty pathetic. And honestly, what's worse is that people are so stupid and are running with whatever they think that they didn't even read this article. Most of those wokesters online are all the people who are calling for Gruden. People like Stephen A. bet they didn't even read the New York Times article. They don't have to, because you'll just eat it up anyways.
You know, you don't have a job right now. Good luck in getting one. Some of these groups, the owner of Hooters, and this little chain, this little clique y'all had going, sending these emails back and forth with one another. This will not be the only domino that will fall.
It's never the only domino that will fall. Yeah. I mean, it's just the.
Oh, it could be the only domino that falls. He's going to be the fall guy.
Where do you start with this situation?
Anywhere you want.
I want to start here. What did you see? What did you see as a player? Because you've been saying this for years, and people were critical of you for having those opinions.
I would say this, Molly.
Yeah, you didn't get along with your former head coach.
I didn't say anything. Stephen A. remember when I was deactivated from the team and essentially sent home.
Yeah, let's put you on the spot. What did Gruden say? Right, what you think Gruden said. I just showed you an example of the women shit, and I just explained that to you. So if you're not going to listen to that, that's on you. I just told you I don't care if there's women refs, but you should be allowed to make a joke about it to your friends privately. That's all he did. So what do you got? Or do you have nothing? I mean, we really say something. We've been asking you for a little bit. All right, say it.
Home for 6-7 weeks. Yeah. I didn't say anything. I said, hey, I'm happy. I won a Super Bowl. I had my time. It's time to move on. I didn't get into it. I let everybody else just say what they say. And then I finally said, man, this dude is a fraud. Y'all don't seem to understand. He's selling you on
Shout out to
something
you, Ty
and you're
Levitt.
buying it. He's been doing that for years. And
even though Keyshawn was all on his nuts when he was 3-0 a few weeks ago. Remember that. And all on Carr's nuts.
And whether it was he's an excellent quarterback coach, whether he won the Super Bowl, which I'm grateful and thankful that he came in at a time and injected some energy into us so we can get over the hump that year and win the Super Bowl. But it's the talking behind people's back. Yeah. That was one of his traits in Tampa.
Oh, yeah. No coach talks behind other players' back, right? Belichick, he's never talking behind other players' backs and like trading players instantly. No coach randomly just trades a player without them knowing, right? That's never happened before. Come on, bro. We've watched Hard Knocks. Like do they think we're stupid?
Everything, Stephen A. I love you, Molly. You're great. But
only Gruden's talking behind other coaches and players' backs. That's only him. He's the only one in the whole NFL. Give me a fucking break, bro.
I can't stand them. You know what's and this, that, and the other. I gotta get it. He was doing that a lot.
It's just so full of shit, bro. Well, hopefully Keyshawn sells this book, gets this book going. That's really what it's all about. Can he sell a book? Exactly. Until we get some context, then what, right? And that's true. Put a hot mic. Yeah, put a mic on there and let's see. Let's see what other people have to say. Damn, this Florio thing is pretty long. But it might be worth the time, though. I mean,
these questions for 12 years, and I know.
Hey, let me know. Is the audio good, though?
We'll ever hear from Jon Gruden. As it turns out, that is the last we will ever hear from Jon Gruden in his capacity as a head coach of the Raiders or any other team in the National Football League.
All right, Florio.
Based upon what happened on Monday, there's no coming back from it. And Gruden late last night resigned his post as the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. It's PFT Live. Chris Sims, Mike Florio. We will spend plenty of time talking about last night's game, a wild comeback for the ages by the Baltimore Ravens against the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, they saw my messages.
One of the craziest Monday nights I can ever remember, when you take a very compelling, entertaining game that went to overtime and you throw on top of it the abrupt resignation of an NFL head coach who has won a Super Bowl and who was a prominent member of the Monday Night Football broadcast team for years. I'm having a hard time finding a similar experience to last night, Chris.
No, definitely not. You know, I mean, the game was great. You're right about that. It was a lot of fun to watch. Both halves goes into overtime, a lot of drama. But yeah, I think the drama that we saw there, what was that, right before halftime? With the
exactly,
report
Rushman, that's real. It's all about that contract.
That was, yeah, I mean, I guess I felt like we were to a crazy night of football and
I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
Time yesterday. Shefty during Monday Night King, that the NFL had, that made a light bulb go off for me, and I'll explain that in a second.
So anyways, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's very well possible. They're literally trying to act like Gruden's emails were so outlandish when really, look, we just looked through all this shit, right? And literally, we've looked through all the material that people have given us, and straight up, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. So, like, basically, I would not be surprised if Gruden's the only person who falls from this. I think it straight up was just to get rid of Gruden because he talked shit on Goodell. That's what it's all about. Getting rid of Gruden just because he talked shit on Goodell. And people like Stephen A., people like Keyshawn Johnson, that's just their whole job is to defend and suck off Goodell. I mean, pretty much that's what they have to do to, you know, stay employed as a reporter. So
Shefty didn't get into any of the details. Shefty's comment, standing alone, did nothing. What happened was, at the same time, the New York Times was buttoning up the latest story with contents of emails that were deliberately and selectively leaked by the league to the New York Times.
Wow, look at Florio there. I mean, look, I haven't listened to this. I'm very surprised. He is at least acknowledging, and he's kind of been on this. And look, he's the biggest Gruden hater of all time. If you're a Raiders fan and you've watched Pro Football Talk, you know Florio is a big-time Gruden hater. And even this guy is saying that they are selectively leaked and targeting Gruden. Even fucking Florio. And we can't even get fucking Raiders fans to admit that. Isn't that such twisted shit?
Just like the emails that were deliberately and selectively leaked by the league to the New York Times. Just like the one page from 650,000 plus emails generated in the Washington football team investigation that was leaked to the Wall Street Journal last week, somebody leaked more to the New York Times on Monday. Somebody wanted this stuff to be out. And this is not a defense of Jon Gruden by any stretch of the imagination. No. This is just our effort to peel back the curtain and show you how the sausage gets made when someone wants to make sausage. And someone had a recipe that they were putting together that consisted of continuing to leak these emails until Jon Gruden resigned or Mark Davis fired him. And that's the light bulb I was talking about, Chris.
Well, yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
They wanted, somebody wanted him out.
Yes, I agree.
And they were going to
starting there.
They were going to keep releasing the emails until he walked away or they made him run. Now, it's not a defense of Gruden.
No.
He got what he deserved.
No.
Yeah, because Florio is a wokester too. He's a hardcore lib, you know, not lib, but more like he's Democrat partisan, right? And he's never liked Jon Gruden. But hey, this guy is a wonk, man. This guy, like, you know, he reads the rules. He knows the history of player conduct policy, coach policy, discipline in the NFL. And even he can easily just pull the easy card and do what Stephen A. is doing, do what Keyshawn Johnson's doing, and just shit all over Gruden. But I like this, man. He's showing at least a little ounce of integrity. Not enough. Not quite as much as me, in my opinion. But he's at least admitting that somebody wanted Gruden out. They targeted him. There's 650,000 emails. How the fuck is it only one guy falling, right? So he's even admitting this is targeted, which is really good. And that the Washington Post and the New York Times are in on it, because if they were real journalists, they would report all the emails. They would show you the actual emails that they mentioned with Gruden. They wouldn't just paraphrase and do hearsay.
galactically stupid he was.
Exactly.
For reducing these thoughts to writing or even having these thoughts. It's one thing to have the thoughts or have, private get-togethers where everybody says all of these raunchy, over-the-top things and they try to outdo each other. This is reducing them to writing at a time when
on an NFL email.
And here's where I disagree with Florio.
These things don't just disappear.
It's not that offensive what he said. It's not offensive at all.
This entire structure is built to preserve things, not delete things. So, anyway, we're not defending him. It was dumb. No, it was stupid, and the outcome was deserved. But there's a parallel story here that I think people are starting to wake up to.
Well,
somebody wanted him gone, and they weren't going to stop until he was gone, and he gave them the ammunition to get to that point.
Yeah, 100%. Mike, I'm glad you're starting there too, because we'll dive into all the specifics and how distasteful and wrong all of it was, but like that to me is like the thing.
Yeah, that's always the key to solving racism is make a few of the people in the group rich, well all the actual working class people, stay poor.
I'm not gonna lie. Of course, we've had a few days to digest this whole Jon Gruden email thing. And, it broke during the weekend. So we heard about all this. I've been thinking about that. But I do think that, like, what you're bringing up to me is probably the thing I'm most curious about. And I think what most people, like, really following the NFL or in the NFL are most curious about. Like, what else is there? Why? Well, why is it that out of all these emails and everything that it's been Jon Gruden? What's the bigger play here? What is it that has singled him out? Fair.
Hey, shout out to Chris Sims too, man. Still trying to be objective, and honestly, that's what's more interesting. Like, I don't think the inappropriate comments from Gruden are interesting. Like, what's really interesting is why do they want this dude out? Is Davis just trying to get out of that contract? Is it because he dissed Goodell? He dissed Goodell, talked shit on Goodell. We don't even know what else he really said about Goodell. There could be way more hardcore stuff he said about Goodell that we haven't gotten a chance to see. And so, yes, you talk shit about Goodell. Goodell tells Davis, hey, I want him out. Well, we already owe him all this guaranteed money. So, hey, guess what? Let's just cancel him because that's all the rage these days. Unless you're Deshaun Jackson quoting Hitler, or Cam Newton roasting a woman to her face for reporting on the NFL.
Unfair, which it does from this aspect seem a little unfair. And again, I'm not defending him either. I'm just trying to say it's very weird that it just seemed like there was a mission to make sure that he was no longer in the NFL. And is there something else he's done that's worse than this that they know of? Is there something else he said that even offended another power player in the NFL that we're not aware of? And that's where I think a lot of people, that's the main text messages I got from people all around the NFL last night, Mike, was like, what else is going on? There has to be something else here. Why is this such an effort to get him out, and nobody's defending him or anything like that. It's just about, it seems curious, and the way you laid it out, I think is perfectly, and it's certainly the number one thing on my mind as we sit here and talk this morning.
He ultimately got what he deserved,
right?
But the question is, who else out there deserves the same fate, and why are those people being protected, and should they be?
Right.
And let's just start, because look, it would be very easy to spend 10 minutes getting you up to speed on stuff you already know. If you're watching this show, he resigned last night. He issued a statement. He met with Mark Davis.
Yo, Florio's on fire today.
People resign in lieu of being fired. I don't think it's irresponsible to speculate that this statement from Jon Gruden was the product of a meeting with Mark Davis, during which Davis said to him, we got two choices here. You either resign or I have to fire you. I've got no choice because, John, they're going to keep releasing this stuff until I either fire you or you walk away. And he ended up walking away and the resignation was accepted. There may be some financial things that happen behind the scenes that relate to how much of his salary he's going to get. That's irrelevant and immaterial for now. It's important for Gruden, it's important for the Raiders, but it's immaterial for now. The other question is this. Of all the information that the NFL uncovered in an investigation that was conducted by Beth Wilkinson, who was initially hired by Washington owner Dan Snyder,
I think they know it's BS deep down.
Over by the NFL when I believe the information came out, the allegations, the reports about the video that was cut from the outtakes of the cheerleader shoot.
Clock, can you grab me a water?
Allegedly prepared for Snyder and other executives. That's when the NFL said, you know what, we're gonna take this over. And it continued. And I remember, and they timed it perfectly, Chris. It was the all-time perfectly timed bad news dump.
Yeah.
It was the Thursday late afternoon heading into 4th of July weekend. And
That's
when 4th
right.
of July ends on a Sunday, nobody works Friday, nobody works Monday. By the time Tuesday came around, nobody was talking about it.
Yeah.
But how in the hell do you have this investigation when we've seen full transparency with investigations that happened with air in footballs, that happened with the bullying situation in Miami back in 2013? Full and complete transparency, reports in excess of 100 pages produced for the world to examine and explore and understand. There was nothing, not a thing. And look, lawyers don't get hired.
And so basically, we know they've had this shit since July. They've had all these emails since July.
To not produce written reports of their investigations. There was no written report. It wasn't requested. It was all done verbally. What in the hell is that? And I was the only one shouting from the rooftops, this is wrong. This is unfair.
Yeah.
They're covering up for Dan Snyder and anyone else with the organization who did something they shouldn't have done. And now, months after the fact, they are hand-picking emails that were sent by somebody who wasn't even working for the team or any other team at the time.
Yeah.
More on that if I remember later. But at the top, from the emails we've seen so far, these are all Jon Gruden, broadcaster, not Jon Gruden, coach of the Raiders or coach of the Bucks or coach of Washington or employee of the league.
Right.
This is Jon Gruden, broadcaster. So,
Oh, wait a second. Yo, is Raider Nation about to give some love to Florio right now? Are we literally about to? Is this our only guy? What the hell has happened where Florio is our only honest guy in the media now? What the fuck is going on, bro? Hey, so far, man, I really like what I'm hearing. Shout out to Florio. Shout out to Florio in the chat. Oh my God. I never ever thought in my life I would ever say that. Yeah, Chris Sims is like, hey, Florio, you're already old and going to retire. I still got a career in this shit. Don't be ruining this shit for me. That's what Chris Sims is thinking. Oh, my God. Shout out to Florio, bro. This is unreal.
they've opened the door here, Chris, and I think it's time to release everything because there's plenty of speculation, and I want to be clear, this is speculation because I don't need to be getting sued by Dan Snyder.
Yeah.
But there are people who look at this and say, wait a minute.
Yeah.
If these are the kinds of emails that Jon Gruden was sending to Bruce Allen, what kind of emails was Dan Snyder sending to Bruce Allen over all those years that have been buried in a nuclear sarcophagus 300 feet underground? It's time for those to come out at a minimum. I say it's time for let's see everything. You can't just release 10 pages and run away. You have lit the fuse, and you have to own up to the bomb that went off for Jon Gruden by showing us all the other bombs that are out there. You can't just do it for one guy. You got to do it for everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. It doesn't seem fair from that aspect. And it's not about, like, fair. It's just about right or wrong at this point. And you can't just say, hey, this guy's wrong, we're going to accuse him. And then, of course, not delve into everybody else's
and he
emails.
deserves it. We're not defending him.
Yeah, well, of course
he deserves what he got.
Of course not.
But who else did stuff that they deserve consequences for, too, that their behavior needs to be exposed? We can't just have a tiny little dash
all the truth
of this.
has to come out. If we're going to
Let's
put a little
see the
dash
whole
of truth. Agreed.
We can't
Yeah,
have
exactly. Florio's emails are gonna get leaked next after this one. His emails are going off, so we're gonna get some shirtless pics of Florio and all kinds of stuff.
the truth.
Yeah.
Let's give us the truth.
No, I mean, that's where, you go back to this, like, what is the bigger play here? I just don't get it. I really don't. Was this something like, listen.
Chris, very simple. It started, and here's the prevailing thought in league circles.
Right.
The one page that was released on Friday was a favor to DeMaurice Smith to help him secure the votes necessary to stay on the job because it all came out. The plane was landed perfectly. The document came out just 2 hours before the NFL Players Association Board of Player Representatives convened to vote on whether or not D. Smith's job would be declared open. And he would have been basically in a position where he had to reapply with anyone else who they were going to consider for the job in March of 2022.
Yeah.
He was literally about to lose his job.
And the theory is
Michelin Lips guy.
it started as an effort to save him. Why would they want to save him? They don't want a new executive director, and now he's beholden to them. That would be the high-level corporate espionage
I can see that.
mindset.
Right.
That he owes them now.
Right.
That's how it started.
Right.
But then once it started, and they started finding other stuff, and I think what happened was, how this all came out on Friday, there's one page that was released, and other materials were sent to the Raiders. And I think what the league was hoping is that Mark Davis would see the other materials and go to Jon Gruden and say,
what the heck?
Dude,
Yeah.
we got to do something or this stuff's going to come out.
Right.
And they didn't.
Right.
And this is where Jon Gruden was ridiculously stupid. This is the last thing I'm going to say, and I'll let you talk. I apologize.
you're okay.
This is where he was ridiculously stupid.
Yeah, go ahead.
The torpedo hit the boat, and he was trying to fix the damage to the hull while he knew damn well there were other torpedoes in the water.
Yeah, right.
That was the time to abandon ship. He did not make this any better for himself, because I guarantee you this. If he had resigned on Friday night or Saturday,
yeah, this wouldn't have come out
wouldn't have seen these
Right.
other emails.
Yes.
They'd be hidden with all the others.
Right.
That's where he was beyond all stupid.
Exactly. You already know Goodell came up to him and tried to get him to resign on Friday or Saturday, or even after the game on Sunday, trying to get him to resign then. He doesn't resign, so boom, they release more emails. You already know that's what went down. And even Florio knows. Bro, even Florio knows what's up. That's how twisted this shit is.
Stupidity that related to the behavior. The mind-blowingly dumb thing he did was talk and defend when he knew, or should have known, all this other stuff was out there.
Yeah, he knew.
And they were going to leak it
right.
if he didn't do anything like walk away, or if Mark Davis hadn't fired.
Right. I mean, wait, and we know he knew. I mean, of course. I mean, right. I mean, he made statement, or certainly was. I think I read it on Pro Football Talk Sunday morning about how there's other emails out there, and that there was going to be some emails about him saying negative things about Rodger Goodell. So again, it's crazy. It really is. I the first thing I just want to say about it is I just can't believe how stupid he is. I really can't. I'm shocked. Let alone, of course, the some of the evil thoughts of it. But I just, for a guy that I was around for such a long time in my career, I mean, listen, you say what you want about Jon Gruden, like him or not. The one thing I will say and always will say is he's intelligent, 100%. And to think that he was sending those emails to a guy who had a very high position within the Washington football team and is using an NFL email account, that's where I'm just amazed. Listen, I worked for the New England Patriots for 18 or 19 months. I mean, we had, email through the team. I mean, just every time I was on there, I was like, okay, just straightforward, and we're just going to talk about, what I got to do for work. That's it. Type that up. Okay, straightforward, and we're just this.
The reason why he was so loose with the emailing is because he literally wasn't employed by the NFL or any team at that time. He was only employed by ESPN. He was free to say whatever he wants. So we thought.
This is what I got to do for work. And I'm shocked by the stupidity or the carelessness there, let alone, of course, some of the language there. And he's going to pay for it now, of course. And he's going to lose the number one thing he loved more than anything in life, which is coaching football and being the man. And now that's gone forever, like you said, and it's you can't defend him, nor can I feel sorry for him at this point.
Oh yeah, you
as
can.
I want to.
Now that I disagree. You can defend him. Locker room talk is all it is, and you can feel sorry for him. Fuck that.
It's hard to feel sorry for him. It's a little unfair that, like you said, their scope is just on him with these emails, definitely. But that doesn't make up for some of the things he said, did here, and the way he's handled the situation. And it's just incredible. It's come to this.
I've known you for over 4 years now, and I can only imagine the temptation that you had when typing those emails to talk about how much weed you were going to smoke.
Right, or whatever. Right, you know me. It's four-letter words, whatever else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florio a Raider for life now. Florio's gonna get love from Raider Nation.
This is a delicate needle to thread, because Gruden is getting what he deserved, and it was stupidity on top of stupidity, and above all else, and I'm not saying this would have been the right thing to do, But for him and his family, and to avoid the embarrassment, you're going to be at the end result anyway. How do you have a failure of imagination once they've sent the materials to the Raiders, once you know what's there and you know they're capable? And when I say they, I mean the NFL league office all the way up to the very top.
Yeah.
Frankly, you know they're capable of leaking this information. They have you. And you don't walk away? Because let me tell you what, it all happened so quickly last night. My first thought was, Jon Gruden had better have gotten a commitment from someone that the leaks will stop. And you know what? Even if he didn't get the commitment, Chris, they will stop because there's no longer a reason to leak the emails about Jon Gruden. They got what they wanted.
Right.
He's out.
Right.
He's out. Somebody decided he should be out, and they were going to keep leaking the emails until Davis fired him or he resigned. And now he's gone, and there's no more reason to leak the emails. Any further leaks at this point would be gratuitous and just flat out mean from the standpoint of their agenda against Jon Gruden. My position is, let's not leak any more of these. Let's release all of them.
Yeah.
You can't just say, well, we're going to slip one of these to the Wall Street Journal. We're going to slip 5 more to the New York Times to get what we want. Because we're the NFL and we always get what we want, and this is a way we can get what we want. I mean, folks, you know, and reporters always get...
I agree Florio is still a blowhard for the league. I do, however, think, though, he is somebody who is kind of wonky. He's really, you know, he really is into matter-of-fact type of things, into rules, and I think he, and he's at a later part of his career, too. I mean, I don't know how much longer he's really going to be doing this show, so I think he could be a little more frank and honest, and I think he can't help, even though he dislikes Jon Gruden. He openly dislikes Jon Gruden. He's the biggest Gruden hater and Carr hater. I mean, even he's being real about this, which is like, somebody wanted him out, probably because he dissed Goodell, and Goodell wanted him out. Even Florio, who's even said at the very top, they colluded to do this and said, hey, we're going to pretty much blackmail Jon Gruden to force him to resign.
Get nervous when we start talking about how we get information, but trust me, these are not the days of Woodward and Bernstein when it comes to covering the NFL.
Yeah.
No one is digging through dumpsters. No one is cultivating super secret sources. The NFL or one of the teams or somebody with information that they know that we would want, they sit down and they decide who we're going to give it to. We need to get this out. Who should we give it to? And when you give it to the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, it has instant credibility.
Yeah.
Because of the names of the publications. They knew damn well what they were doing. And the folks at the Wall Street Journal and the folks at the New York Times were just sitting there and the phone rang. They weren't hacking anyone's computer.
No, right.
They weren't working
Even
this
digging
and
this
working
up,
it.
yeah,
Because
right.
if they were, we'd have Snyder's emails, not Gruden's.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and that, like first thing I want to say, like, all right, NFLPA, whatever, NFL, whoever released this. I mean, are they going to be in legal trouble about releasing these emails? I mean, aren't they supposed to be private? I guess that's the first thing I wanted to ask you, really.
But who's gonna do anything about it?
Yeah,
Who's gonna do anything about it?
I guess him, Gruden, which was of course going to bring more light onto this.
Yeah, so that's another thing, because Gruden is actually, and you know, Florio's a lawyer, and I believe EC was talking about this in the chat. You know, it's not actually legal to really leak these emails out if Gruden was not part of that investigation. Why is his emails getting leaked that have nothing to do with the Washington football team investigation, really?
I mean, aren't they supposed to be private? I guess that's the first thing I wanted to ask you, really.
But who's gonna do anything about it?
Yeah,
Who's gonna do anything about
I guess him, Gruden, which was of course going to bring more light onto the situation and then drag him through the dirt even more. Right,
Chris.
Yeah.
In hindsight, this is why, and I said this Sunday night, the league was not likely to suspend him. And it all depended on what the Raiders were going to do. And little did I know how accurate that was. The league was not going to pick a fight with him, because if you pick a fight with Gruden, the first argument is, dude, you got 650,000 pages and you selectively leak 5 about me?
Yeah.
They don't want that fight because they don't want, trust me, I hope people appreciate that what we're talking about right now is not going to make people at 345 Park Avenue happy. But it's the truth, and I'm always going to bring you the truth. And in this situation, the hard truth is they targeted Gruden with this trove of documents. They targeted Gruden with a small handful, and if they would have suspended Gruden, Gruden's response through his lawyers would have been, let's see all the documents.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is in there.
Right.
Let's see who else.
I fucking love Florio. I fucking love Florio right now. I'm going to put the link in the chat right now.
Communicated with Bruce Allen, whether it's Dan Snyder or whether it's other coaches, other executives. There's a lot of people from other teams nervous today, Chris.
Sure.
Because Jon Gruden isn't the only person that was sending emails to Bruce Allen over the past 10 years.
No, definitely not. I got to think a lot of guys are a little nervous this morning, certainly. Wondering what they sent. What did I write something that was somewhat controversial? Was I trying to be funny and it's, improper? Again, of course, it's not that uncommon in the NFL with some of that type of language. I don't mean the racist language, but some of the other stuff. Yeah, it's not that uncommon. Sorry.
How stupid are people in the digital age to not realize that anything you say can and will be preserved and can and will be used against you? How stupid. How stupid. Listen, when I practiced law, you rarely got the smoking gun from testimony. The moments are very few and far between when you got Jack Nicholson on the witness stand and you browbeat him until he breaks. That doesn't happen. You win your cases with documents. You win your cases with emails. You win your cases with text messages or people that keep diaries for whatever reason and put all this incriminating crap in their diaries. That's how I won my cases. So I learned a long time ago, you don't put anything in writing. Anything. It's beyond ridiculous that someone as smart as Jon Gruden would have stepped on rake after rake after rake and thought, and I think it's the hubris. Frankly, it's the emperor mentality.
Sure.
I can do what I want. No one's ever going to do anything about it.
Well, I that's where I was going to go. I think, yes, there's a little bit of, ego, narcissism, and, just selfishness. That put him in this position, certainly. I mean, that I think is pretty apparent. Let alone, it's a guy who, yes, the emotions get the best of him at times. Certainly, being around him, emotions can get the best of him to where he could say things that, I don't necessarily know if he wanted to say them out loud, but he did because he'd be frustrated at football or frustrated at a coach or a player or something that was going on in the world. And that would come out in the meeting, and you were like, whoa, okay, he was bottled up there. He needed to get that out. That is part of the human being we're dealing with. I could sit here and tell you that I didn't see anything racist from Jon Gruden my 6 years playing underneath him. I never saw that. But did I hear crazy
But Chris,
Yeah.
Chris, but here's the thing. And go ahead. You finish. He told me to shut up.
No, it's okay.
I'll hold
But
my
no,
thought.
it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean like he, wasn't saying things like that privately or in emails or had his own private thoughts with his close friends. I don't know that. I can't say that I witnessed that, though, in any way, shape, or form. No.
It's fucked up, man.
What I can say, and what I do think, like with Jon Gruden specifically here, like, he doesn't win himself the benefit of the doubt. He definitely doesn't do that. He's burned more bridges than probably every head coach in football. And then there's no joke. I mean, hey, there was a reason he kissed the butt of every coach in the NFL when he was doing Monday Night Football with Mike Tirico. I mean, he'd be on there with some guys. Oh, this guy's a great coach. I love him. He's a great coach. And I'd be like, man, I've heard him talk about that coach like 20 times. He thinks he sucks and he's stupid. But he realized if he wanted to get back in the NFL that he had to start mending some of these bridges. He's a pain in the butt that way. He is. And I think the fact and the way that he's treated people for so long certainly didn't give him the benefit of the doubt or do any favors for him in the league.
All right, whatever, Chris Sims.
He's brutal that way.
What does that have to do with shit?
I think karma finally came back to get him.
He doesn't deserve to get fired just because he disses people.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I remember when he first started doing Monday Night Football, I was so disappointed because he wasn't Chucky, because he was keeping all of the bridges mended. He wasn't going to upset any players because he never knew what players he was going to end up coaching.
Exactly, right.
He didn't want to upset any owners because he never knew what owner he was potentially going to be working for. You're in an industry with 32 companies. And if you start eliminating them, you never know over the course of the next 20 years which one's going to have an opening, and you don't want him to say, I'm never hiring that guy. So that was one of the reasons why he was never as good as he could have been as a broadcaster. In my view, he was still really good, but he would have been even better if he would have gone full-blown Chucky. You know how you never know how the redemption tour goes. Maybe he ends up in broadcasting again, and he will be full-blown Chucky.
Well, Mike,
this time,
I always go back to the point you brought it up. I think like last week or 2 weeks ago, but just organically somehow it came up. But like, hey, one of the guys that was on the team that won a Super Bowl called him a scumbag on the radio.
Simeon Rice.
Simeon Rice, right? And
right after he was fired.
Right after he's fired. And nobody came to his defense. Not that everybody shared that same thought, but I think anybody who was there would go, well, to some people he's a scumbag. He certainly the way
everybody's a scumbag
people.
to some people.
Nobody defended him. Guys that won Super Bowls with him, nobody was like, whoa, Simeon Rice is way off base there. Yeah, how could he say that? None of that. So I think that's just a little like inkling into sometimes the way he treated people. And again, it doesn't make me proud to sit here and talk about this, about my ex-coach. It really doesn't. But at the same time, the reality is the reality. And I just can't believe he typed some of these things and even had really some of these thoughts about these people anyways. And it got his butt in trouble here, and now he's done forever.
The late Steve Dumig, who was a radio host on WDAE in Tampa for years, he was a guy that I used to appear with weekly back in the, 2007, 2008, 2009 time frame, and he would always kind of tell me to the side, and I don't want to. It's not like he's in a position to refute me, but this is the truth. He said, look, Gruden, he says one thing, does another. The players don't trust him. The players know he'll act one way to your face.
That's how everybody is in the NFL, bro.
And he'll say the exact opposite. And you've told that story about hearing him talking through the wall about you.
Well,
after he just kissed your butt face to face.
Definitely, I saw that. Listen, I was in meetings with him where he would just absolutely crush somebody on our team. This guy's an idiot. He's not going to be here much longer, and we would break the meeting. And that guy'd be walking by, and he'd tell him he loved him. I love you, man. And yeah, guys saw that, and they were like, damn, okay, wait, he's saying that to him, and he just said that behind his back.
Florio's the only one who's spoken some realness on TV today.
I think it's a little bit of the, again, an inkling into, the guy itself and why he's in this situation right now. And it finally came back to get him, in the long run, and I'm still shocked by the whole situation.
Very complex personality, a guy who, and we said this last week, and I'm reluctant to bring other people's names into this because I'm sure their reaction would be the same as Trevor Lawrence's last week when his name was brought into the Urban Meyer thing gratuitously.
Right.
But, last week we explained how John Harbaugh's competitive drive, the ultra-competitive force that pushes him, is the same force that caused him to try to preserve that goofy, stupid record of 100-yard rushing games that were strung together 43 times. For Gruden, the thing that made him great, I believe, was just that he was always pissed off about something. He was always irritated about something.
Always.
He always had himself. Remember, like you said, Wes Welker, the Patriots knew he was only effective if he was pissed off.
Right.
John Gruden, I think his motivation was he would get pissed off about things.
Definitely.
And he was always pissed off about something. And I think that's what got him on the league's radar screen. He was always complaining about something. I remember when he came back into the league in 2018, I interviewed him twice. Very entertaining 25 minutes on this show. We did an entertaining 15 to 20 minutes face-to-face in Indy, and that's the last time I ever spoke to him because, I didn't play the game. I didn't emerge from that smitten by Jon Gruden and willing to never question or scrutinize anything that he said or did. So that was that. But he was pissed then because all these rules, I can't do Gruden, but these rules where, I can't talk to my players. I want to meet with Derek Carr. I want to get to know Derek Carr, and I'm not allowed to. These stupid-ass rules that they came up with in the lockout. And that's where we saw most of these emails where he decided to go scorched earth and start using all these inappropriate terms. He was mad at everybody because of the lockout.
Yeah.
But even if it wasn't that, it would have been something else.
Oh, definitely.
There's always something that was going to make him mad.
Definitely, Mike. 100%.
Doesn't mean you should get fired for that.
He would be classified as one of those guys that, And I can relate to this. Maybe I'm like this a little bit my own self, but he's not happy unless he's unhappy to a degree. Yeah, he was going to come into every meeting with something that was pissing him off. Sorry, Manchester. I mean, yeah, he was. That is bottom line. It didn't matter either. We could be playing a team where he just, he would make comment like, we're playing this coach. Well, he's probably getting fitted for suits. You ever see him? He's got suits. He's got a new suit on every time I see him doing a press conference. And he was going to use that to motivate himself to come up with a better game plan.
That's why I'm making jokes.
He could feel like he was going to kick this guy's butt this week. That is a little bit what made Jon Gruden great, definitely, and made for some great, colorful meetings at times where you'd laugh and just go, "Man, this guy's crazy. What is he saying?" But completely crossed the line here. I mean, completely lost his mind that way. I just that's where I come back to and just go, I just don't understand it. I don't. And Mike too. Yeah, I think you're right when you just talk about the league. I would think had it out for him because you're right. He's always attacking the league. Always. He was attacking the locker room. He was attacking the Lightning last week in the Monday night game. I don't know. It's an indoor stadium. Why the hell? There's always something there. And that's where I go back to it didn't do him any benefits for the way he's treated people. The way he used to yell at referees in preseason game number 1. You'd go, are we playing for Super Bowl here? Or is this the preseason right now? I mean, I love it, though. Coaches and players that would be like, why is he acting like this with 4 minutes left in a preseason game where we're up by 25 points? And it's just, it's the emotions and the intensity that made him great. It's like the gift and the curse. Now it's come back and got him the curse part. And I still can't believe it.
Openly defied the mask rules last year during the pandemic, openly and repeatedly defied those rules. It was a collection of things that got someone in the league office, presumably the person at the very top of the league office, to decide that it was time. And I've got the ammunition to make it happen, and I'm going to make it happen. And I don't think it takes a high-level degree in corporate machinations to understand how this all came together.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching.
Wow. But was really shocked that Florio, was super honest about the situation, was able to see through the bullshit and call it out. And wow, I am just so impressed by Florio. So shocked, actually, that he was this candid and this real about it. And honestly, this is a great video. Check out at least the first half of it if you haven't already. It's informative for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who still don't even, maybe they didn't have time to read the articles. But wow. Interesting. Rich here. Jon Gruden does have a legit legal case against the NFL. That is true. He did resign, though. I don't know if that affects things, but he can argue he was obviously blackmailed and pressured into resigning. And that's another thing. Some other people, if other people don't fall because of this, then yes, Gruden definitely has a case against the NFL because 650,000 emails and you're only attacking one guy, right? You only got dirt on one guy. You call Goodell names and that's what happens to you, right? Jerry Jones behind this? Who knows? You really don't know how much collusion there is. And, he's been a part of the NFL for a long time. So you never know. But they did get out of Gruden's contract, and that was the biggest goal. And even Florio is admitting that. Somebody wanted him gone and wanted to get out of that fat contract. This was the way to do it. Even Florio. Why is it that Florio is more real than some Raiders fans who won't even admit that this is all a hack job, a hit job? Yeah, I wouldn't be... Yeah, exactly. Mark Davis could be behind it to get out of that contract. Or, what I predict is that Goodell told Mark, we got to get rid of Gruden, and then Mark was like, hey, well, I already gave him this contract, and he's like, don't worry, we'll take care of it. Emails. We'll give him a step down. And Gruden should fight this, and I'm upset that he stepped down. I hope Gruden comes out and speaks out against this. I hope Gruden returns to the NFL one day. I hope Gruden one day is the coach of the Raiders. That would make me the happiest. And my main point in doing these videos is to say he should not have stepped down. People have done worse things, obviously, but for some reason we don't talk about it. I mean, Robert Kraft, sex spas, Cam Newton. I mean, all these people have done things that, and I don't think any of these people, Deshaun Watson quoting Hitler, I don't think these people should necessarily get in trouble like Gruden has. I think nobody should be getting in trouble for stuff that they say. Especially if it's just a personal thing for them, if they're not saying it as a representative of the team. Sketchy stuff though, dude. More's gonna come out. I'm interested to see what else is gonna happen. If there's gonna be any more news. I don't think so though, because like Florio said, he says no more emails are gonna drop out or gonna be released of Gruden's because the job's already done. The hit job's already done. Yeah, link an article. Send a link. Send some links in the chat. We'll take a look at some stuff. Defamation, yeah. How did they get the emails? Exactly. There's an investigation, but who's actually leaking specifically Gruden's emails? That's what's sketchy. Exactly. There's a question of the Michelin lips if that's even racist. There's tons of ethnic groups, tons of different types of people who all have big lips, and there's some black people who don't have big lips. I mean, so yeah, you're essentially saying that one group has this characteristic that in and of itself is actually more racist. If you really want to get technical with it. And yeah, then you got your Tyreek Hills, of course. You got that. I mean, let's not even get started on that. I mean, yeah, of course. Focus on the donkeys. Honestly, I'm gonna watch this next game, and I'm gonna watch this next game for Derek Carr. I'm gonna watch it for him because Derek Carr doesn't deserve, all this situation. I mean, look, I'm rocking a Fresno State hat. You know what I mean? And I think that's me from now on. I think I'm gonna still report on the NFL. I'm gonna give some news. I'm mainly going to talk about issues like this. I'm gonna talk about issues like this from now on this channel. Things that I see that are sketchy. I don't think I'm gonna watch as many of the games as I used to, if any. I think I will stick to just watching Carr for the rest of the year and some other players that I like. But I don't want to support the NFL anymore. I think this is sketchy. If they can do this, I don't trust the integrity of the game. I don't trust the rules. And even we have a Broncos fan actually in this chat. And even against the Steelers, there were some very sketchy calls that happened in that game. I watched that game because I was going to go on a Broncos channel. And I don't even trust some of the calls that went against the Broncos in the Steelers game. So all around, we know this league is sketchy, and to me, this is just the final straw for me. I can't support an organization that is literally going to straight up collude together to really out somebody who didn't do anything as wrong as anybody else. We got a Nazi here, basically, with freaking Deshaun Jackson, and come on, I mean. Yeah, it really it's very hard for me to. I honestly, and I hate to say this. I'm not necessarily rooting for the Raiders this Sunday. I'm rooting for players, but I don't want Mark Davis to reap any benefits from this. I am rooting for Crosby. I'm rooting for Renfro. I'm rooting for Abram. I'm rooting for Casey Hayward. I'm rooting for some players that I like. Carr, people who I don't think deserve this. Zay Jones. I'm rooting for Zay Jones this week, but I don't know if I could really root for like the Raiders. You know what I mean? And because I don't feel like I could root for the NFL. Because I don't think anybody else is going to fall because of this. I think they're really just going to let it all go down with freaking Gruden and act like he's the only problematic one because they wanted him out. Yeah, but anybody got any articles? Link some. Somebody was talking about that earlier. I actually got to go to class soon. So there's that. Hopefully Gruden needs to make a podcast. Freaking dude, if Gruden made a podcast, we would all be subscribed to that shit. Gruden needs to make a podcast calling shit out. Gruden needs to link up with Wi-Fi Willie. Me and Gruden could do this shit together. Gruden needs to link up with Wi-Fi Willie. I'm not blaming the team. That's why I'm rooting for players. But dude, I'm not gonna. I think Mark Davis is sketchy. I think Mark Davis is sketchy. Yeah, there's so many people you could blackmail. Exactly. Oh hell yeah. That's not true, dude. That's not true. Gruden resigned because they were going to keep leaking information about him, and Mark Davis could no longer stand up for him any longer. And Mark Davis is no Al Davis. He wasn't going to fight and stand up for his head coach and call bullshit on this. Because Mark Davis doesn't really care about the team. Mark Davis is just trying to, he just inherited the team. He's not even a fan of football. He didn't even watch a game in 2020. I would be very surprised if Mark Davis even knows who all the players are on the 53-man roster. I mean, the team. I do not think the team wanted Gruden to resign. No, I definitely do not think that. That is so false because the players aren't stupid. They know that other people say this kind of shit all the time. You know, we all know that. We all know that this is not a big deal, and people make offensive jokes to their friends all the fucking time. So one, I trust that the players aren't stupid and understand that. Two, I think a lot of players came to the Raiders for Gruden and to work with Gruden. Three, they don't want to waste a season. They don't want to waste a whole season. Everything they work for to go deep in the playoffs this year, they want to keep Gruden to not waste a season. So those are three reasons why I don't think the team wanted him to resign. And four, you had players kind of stick up for him. And when they're asked about it at press conferences, I'm blaming Mark Davis. I'm saying Mark Davis didn't stand up for his guy Gruden, and he bent to the pressure of the NFL and bent over for them. I mean, that's really what he did. I mean, I hope he fought a little bit more behind the scenes, but from the looks of it, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, exactly. Think about it. You can go through people's lives and stuff and other channels, and you could go and break down and download everything they've said, and I bet you could find something to cancel them with. Totally. No, I'm still a Raiders fan. I mean, I can't root for any other team but the Raiders because I've been a Raiders dude. I'm a fan of football. You know, I've been a Raiders fan my whole life. I started this channel, dude. I mean, I've spent so many hours doing this channel for free mostly. I've done this channel mostly for free, and yeah, I mean, this is hard for me, man. But I can't. I'm not a fan of the NFL anymore. I think the NFL is sketch, and I don't trust it. I don't trust the integrity of the game. That I will say. This is hard for me. I'm still working through this. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure if I'm a fan. The NFL needs to win me over. Like right now, I'm not a fan of the NFL. I'm not a fan of any team right now because I don't trust the game. The NFL needs to win me over to make me trust this game. That's a good point. Mark Davis was the poorest owner. Now he's one of the, he's one of the richer owners. He totally doesn't want to squander that. So he's going to do whatever Goodell tells him. He's going to do anything that Goodell tells him. There could be a situation where Mark leaked it, even just to save some cash, of course. Yeah, took his dad's vision to get some profit, of course. Of course. I don't know how these coaches are going to be. Do you really think Bisaccia and freaking Bradley are on board with this? Hell no. Bro, they came here to work with Gruden. It's their guy. It's their friend. They've had relationships with this guy. They know this guy. They hang out with this guy. You think the coaching staff likes this shit? You think Greg Olson's stoked about this shit? You think Tom Cable's stoked about this shit? And by the way, I mean, Tom Cable has his shit too. Are they going to cancel Tom Cable? We already know he's had his problems too. Exactly. Yeah, I think players are talking about how much they love equality in the LGBTQ community. I think that's what they're talking about in locker rooms and how they're so woke. Yeah. Come on, dude. People make jokes. No bone t-shirts? What do you mean by bone t-shirts? Y'all see that bull cut? Yeah, he's a square dude. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, if we have less penalties, they're rigging it. They're rigging it. If our penalties go away, you already know. If Leatherwood somehow now can block, right? If all this shit starts going down, you already know it's sketchy as hell, bro. I hope the staff walks, dude. They're not going to though, dude, because they got their money, everything tied up with this. It's about money, dude. People are gonna just follow along because they need to get their cash. Yo, it's not fair, bro. It really isn't. See what I got. I got 91 likes. Got over 100 people here. Shout out to everybody here, man. I mean, yeah. I'm going to be calling out how it's scripted, though, too, dude. I'm going to be breaking some stuff down. I actually have a couple things in the work. Oh, yeah. I love this thing. Brandon Parker, John Simpson, and Leatherwood to Pro Bowl. They're going to go to the Pro Bowl now. Oh, yeah. So freaking... Yeah, I mean, honestly, they might give the Raiders an L this week and then realize that after a little while... they're gonna start going for the Raiders, start going more pro Raiders. Shout out to all you guys here though, man. 650,000 emails. Only shit about Gruden. See if there's any more information coming out. I don't see anything yet right now. I think it's pretty quiet right now. I wonder if Vincent Bosignor, he usually has a lot to good reporting. So we'll see. We'll see what Mark Davis is releasing. Right, there hasn't been anything from our beat reporters though. I don't think there's going to be any more news really until tomorrow when Rich Bisaccia does his press conference. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, Vincent Bosignor, I mean, he's towing the line. He wants to be a reporter with access. So he's essentially saying that this isn't a witch hunt. I mean, he has to say that to keep his job. I mean, I don't have a job I guess I could say whatever. And shout out to Florio. Shout out to Florio getting real about all this shit, man. Yeah, maybe we should get a no bone t-shirts. Well, I got class starting up. I'm going to be doing some more videos on this. I just wanted to go live, talk about all this stuff that's going on. Really just kind of a recap of last night. And we really went off last night and covered a bunch of cool stuff. And this is going to happen more, though. There's going to be a lot more to talk about. We'll try to put something together on a different channel, I believe, that really talks about this whole story and all the layers to it. Love the Florio vid, though. Check that out if you guys haven't already. Mark Davis should hold a press conference, and it is very sketch that he hasn't already. It's totally sketch. Most fans are just clueless, gonna just drink and do whatever. They're not gonna give a shit. Shout out to all you guys though. I'm gonna be heading out, and hit me up on Instagram, man. Keep following this channel, like, subscribe, and go to this channel manually. They have been making it where, like, you know, people don't get updates even if they ring the bell for my channels. You have to go to this channel manually because they're that sketch these days, dude. I've seen it happen already. I've had numerous people complain that they literally have to go to my channel manually to see my new videos. So that's what you gotta do. Landscape Vision, just go check earlier in this video to see what Florio was saying. Just scroll around. But appreciate you guys, man. Y'all have a good one. And fuck. Let's hope something changes. But honestly, right now it looks pretty bad, and it looks like it's just another guy canceled, bro. Canceled unfairly when there's other people who've done way worse shit who are still employed by the NFL. Well, peace, y'all.